Thank you for tuning in to the Doing Business with God podcast.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I am your host, Michi Renee.
It is Michi's passion to help you live your best life and do business God's way. Michi will be talking about entrepreneurship, manifestation, monetization, mindset, beliefs, starting and growing a business, nonprofit, or ministry, all while serving God. So welcome to My Daddy's Business. It's time for the show. It's the Doing Business with God podcast with your host, Michi Renee.
Hello, Tribe. Welcome back to another episode of the Doing Business with God podcast, dedicated to helping you do business God's way. In this bonus episode, I'm going to be talking to you about my process for putting this podcast together, my behind the scenes, so you can really get a look into what it takes to do business God's way, what it takes to put on this podcast for you each and every week. And for those of you who may be interested in starting your own podcast, I would be more than happy to help you on your journey, as that is something new that people have been asking for help with, and I can absolutely help you with starting your own podcast. So realistically, I record my podcast on Sundays or Monday. So I set aside time each and every week to batch my content for the week, to batch my videos, to batch my social posts, to batch my podcast interviews. So typically I set up to do interviews on Sundays between 12 noon and 6 p.m. And then I do them on Mondays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so what this allows me to do is to really stay focused, to really stay organized. And I am not all over the place doing social posts and all kinds of other things throughout the day. It generally takes a longer amount of time when you do it day by day, one by one, when you're doing it out of desperation, when you're doing it out of, oh, I know I have to get this done. Your energy flows so much better and you're more creative when you sit down and you actually batch your content, because you're able to think about it, you're able to do something else and then come back to it. You're not working, seeing your clients, selling products, doing whatever it is that you do in your business. So that is typically how I structure what I do here in my podcast. And so this particular day that I am recording, I do not have any interviews for this Sunday and this Monday. So that's going to give me a lot of time freedom. I also do not record my podcast episodes from week to week. So as of today, when I am recording this, my interviews are all the way up through the middle of May. So I have all of those episodes recorded, as well as I record my own personal episodes each week, 3 to 4 at a time. So I always have episodes in the bag, so to speak. So if, for example, something happens and for 2 weeks I'm not able to record, it does not hinder my podcast in any way, because I have all these episodes that are actually currently built up and ready to go at any point in time. So the podcast officially drops January 4th for interviews. So we will actually start dropping interviews as of January 4th, and the podcast will now be coming out twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. God has just done some amazing things with this podcast, and I give him all the glory. I am recording this, and at this date, which is December 20th, which I have no idea when you will actually hear this podcast, but this is being recorded on December 20th. And in less than a month, we've already ranked on Apple Podcasts in 2 countries, in 2 categories, and we've exceeded the number of downloads that new podcasts normally get. They've only usually get about 140 in a month, and we've gotten more than that in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So with a little planning, with a little preparation, professionalism, you can start your podcast and be very much ahead of the game, you know.
We hope that you are enjoying this episode. If you would like to be a guest, check the show notes for all the details. Let's get back to the Doing Business with God podcast with Michi Renee.
With the Doing Business with God podcast, we do want you